Today we're taking another look at Fsync versus NTSync. If you saw my previous video, you already know that NTSync is a new driver baked into the Linux kernel that improves how CPU thread synchronization is handled. That's the simplest way to explain it, but if you want a deeper breakdown, I recommend checking out that earlier video. For today's test, I'm using Splinter Cell Conviction because this game notoriously had a lot of issues on SteamOS when the Steam Deck first launched about 4 years ago. Back then it didn't run very well, but over time Proton has received many updates and performance for it has improved significantly, but the game still does have a lot of issues, and a lot of them relate to CPU synchronization. So I decided to test Fsync versus NTSync across a few scenes in the game, including gameplay and some scripted moments where I don't control the camera, so we have more consistent comparisons. Right now we are at the beginning of the game, and on the left we have Fsync, which is the standard synchronization method Proton has used for a long time. On the right we have NTSync, which you can enable by forcing GE Proton. Any GE Proton version after 10.19 includes NTSync, and I'm using the latest one, which is GE Proton 1032. When I first started recording these comparisons, it actually looked like NTSync had a noticeable advantage. In a few scenes, it was even showing slightly higher FPS. In some cases, there was around 5 to 7 FPS difference, which initially looked promising, but I've actually replayed this section several times and the results weren't as clear. For example, during the first run, I saw a drop of 45 FPS with Fsync in this particular scene that didn't appear with NTSync, but after repeating the test multiple times, it turned out that was just a random fluctuation rather than a consistent improvement. In most gameplay sections, the performance ends up being very similar. Sometimes NTSync pulls slightly ahead, and sometimes Fsync does. The difference is usually just a couple of FPS, which isn't something we can confidently attribute to NTSync alone. Where NTSync does seem to help occasionally is with frame time consistency. In some scenes the frame time graph looks a bit smoother, but even that isn't consistent across the entire test. The next scene is a scripted moment where I don't control the camera, which makes it easier to synchronize both runs. And again, the results are mixed. Sometimes NTSync performs a little bit better, sometimes Fsync does. So overall, there isn't clear evidence that NTSync dramatically improves performance in this game. In my previous video, we did see cases where NTSync made a more noticeable difference, but it's definitely not a miracle fix. It won't automatically improve every game, and it's not guaranteed to deliver better performance in every situation. The main takeaway here is that the difference isn't huge, but if you do want to squeeze out a few extra FPS, there's no downside to using the latest version of GE Proton for any game on your Steam Deck. Even outside of NTSync, newer Proton builds often include fixes and improvements that can help with compatibility and performance. If we were comparing this to something like Proton 7 to more modern Proton versions, the difference would probably be much bigger, but between the current official Proton 10 and GE Proton, the experience in this game feels mostly the same. Still, I wanted to test it because Splinter Cell Conviction is known for having these CPU-related issues. And by the way, it's still a fantastic game. It has full controller support, and I also have a video covering the entire Splinter Cell saga. The games go on sale regularly, often as a bundle, and they're absolutely worth playing on the Steam Deck. So that's pretty much going to be for this video. I probably won't be doing many more Fsync versus NTSync comparisons unless there's a game where the difference is clearly noticeable. Hopefully NTSync will eventually make its way into the official Proton builds on SteamOS, so we won't need to rely on GE Proton to use it, but in general, using the latest Proton version, especially GE Proton, is still a good habit if you want to get the best possible performance from your games. So that's gonna be it for this one. Fsync versus NTSync can provide some performance improvements, just not in every game and not all the time. It's not a miracle worker, but it's great to see Valve and the broader Linux community continuing to improve Proton and make gaming on Linux better over time. And that's good news for everyone playing on Linux and the Steam Deck. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more content about Steam Deck, Steam hardware, benchmarks and news, consider subscribing to the channel. You can also join the SteamFlow Steam group and follow the SteamFlow curator page. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.